Hi there, Logic Language Learners. So this is a video, this one's entirely in English. This is a video which is, a lot of you have asked for, which is the ABC video, okay? So those of you, when I've referred to, so basically ABC is the word I give in my teaching, or have been giving more recently, to when you've got a reflexive verb which then always works with a preposition. Okay, so it's a reflexive verb, try and speak Luke, a reflexive verb which is working with a preposition. And I've referred to this concept in a lot of the live chats, I've referred to this concept in other videos, and when anybody's asked me for a video on it, I have to admit that the videos that I've got are standard and well explained, but I don't use this ABC terminology that I am finding really useful. Well, I'm not finding useful. I mean, I know an ABC verb, but I'm saying I'm finding that you guys are finding it really useful. So I thought I'd do a little video to make it completely clear. So those of you that have asked for this kind of thing, like Andrea, like Ray, you know, all these people, I thought this would be useful. So here we go. So some ideas. Verbs can be reflexive and not have a preposition after them. Preposition, for those of you who really don't follow this, preposition is one of the words like de or a or avec or pour. In other words, something that can go before a noun. So if you check with the word house or dog, the kind of words that often go before a noun in a preposition before a noun are prepositions. So with the dog, from the dog, in the dog, to the house, by the house, these words are prepositions. And most commonly in French, for verbal prepositions, we're talking about de, a, or pour, avec. These are the common ones, okay? So first statement, verbs can be reflexive, which is obviously the me, the te, the nous, the vous, the ce. If you're watching this video and you don't get what a reflexive verb is, I shall pop the link underneath. Verbs can be reflexive without a preposition. You know, je me lave. There's no preposition there. You know, just two parts, the reflexive part and the verb part. Je me rase, I shave. There's nothing afterwards, okay? Even if I popped a noun after it, you know, like je me rase la barbe, I wouldn't have a preposition between that, okay? So, second idea, verbs can use prepositions, obviously, and not be reflexive. So, for example, essayer de, commencer à, continuer à. Some people say continuer de. You know, there's plenty of verbs, you know, permettre à quelqu'un. You know, there's plenty of verbs equally which use prepositions which don't use reflexives. So what we're getting onto then, and this is a massive thing in French, I cannot stress enough that this really is something you have to learn to speak French properly, is the group that I call ABCs. And ABCs is when we are saying there are three elements to the verb. So A would be the reflexive pronoun, so me, te, ce, nous, vous, ce. And you obviously choose the part you need. B would be your main verb, and you do all the normal tricks that you do with your normal verb. You're going to be sticking it in all the normal tenses, okay? And C would be the preposition that would come after that, okay? Now, why is this idea really useful? This idea is really useful to help you to keep your head together. To be thinking, in these verbs, I'm going to need to reference at least A, B, and C once. That wasn't quite English. I'm going to need to reference them all at least once, okay? If I were to change the order of things a little bit, that's fine. I can go A, C, B, and we'll talk about that later on, okay? So let's just start. So let's start with the verb. Let's do one with a de, okay? So s'occuper, yeah, reflexive verb. So you've got the se, then the occuper. This will be written underneath. So if I keep a mental note of what we are doing and when, or written note, and then I'll write you some notes. So s'occuper. So if you've got s'occuper, to look after. Now, you are always going to need to stick that with the de. So I look after you. The temptation is to use a pronoun. You've been watching the videos and you think, okay, I get it. So I love you, je t'aime, je t'aime. I see you, je te vois. You know, to use the pronouns. And the thing with an ABC verb is you can never stick anybody before the preposition. You're going to have to say, I look after you, je m'occupe de toi, or I think, I remember you, je me souviens de toi. So you can't stick the person in the middle of an ABC like you can a normal verb, which is why it needs special attention. So let's crack on then. So if I had s'occuper, it's a nice A verb, nice ER verb. If I asked you to deal with the reflexive, what are you going to do? So if you looked at the verb in the infinitive, you would see s'occuper. All reflexive verbs, whether they have a preposition or not, are written with the se form in the dictionary. So the third person. So you'd see s'occuper. So how am I going to deal with that? I'm going to need to make the reflexive pronoun appropriate for the person. So me, te, ce, nous, vous, ce, or obviously me, te, you know, with the apostrophe, etc. So occuper, fine, I'm going in the present tense, so I'm going to treat it like a standard present tense verb. So je m'occupe. So I've done A, which is pronoun. I've done B, which was verb. I now need C, which is the element, which is the preposition. So for example, I look after you, je m'occupe de. ABC, je m'occupe de toi. Okay? Now notice the word that I'm using that comes after the de. It's not going to be tu, that is when a tu does the verb. Tu parles, tu danses, or tu t'occupes. I mean, you can use the same verb yourself, same verb yourself going somewhere else. It's not going to be te, because te is the pronoun that goes in the middle of a sentence for you. It's going to be the one that comes at the end, which is toi. So I look after you, je m'occupe de toi. Okay? Let's do another one. He looks after you. I need to deal with ABC. What's my reflexive? S'occuper de, ABC. So he, il, I need the reflexive, which is the A, se. My verb occuper, occupe, so s'occupe. I need C, ABC, I need the reflexive, I need the pronoun, the preposition here, il s'occupe de. So let's say he looks after us, il s'occupe de nous. Or he looks after me, il s'occupe de moi. Because what am I saying? The version of the person that comes after the preposition, avec moi, pour toi. Yeah, it's going to be the moi, toi, lui, nous, elle, nous, vous, eux, etc. It's going to be the object at the end. Right. Let's move on. Let's do the reflexive verb to the pronoun, the ABC verb to remember. Se, this will be written underneath. Se souvenir de. So another one with de. So let's work our way through it. I remember you. Je, no problem. The first of my ABC is the reflexive, so which pronoun am I going to use? I'm going to use me. So je me. Now I'm at stage B, which is my verb. The verb is souvenir. So you've actually got a verb which uses a twister. You've got the compound sou, but it's like the verb venir, which is a twister, soft, hard. So viens, 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 venons, venons, venez, viennent. So je me souviens. Now I need part C. Je me souviens de toi. Okay? Je me souviens de toi. Okay? So I've had the me, I've had the verb, I've had the reflexive. I remember you would always need all three ingredients of that. Okay? Next thing. Let's do one with a for a second. So let's do s'habituer à. So to get used to is to habituate yourself to. Reflexive verbs, ABC verbs don't have to be starting with open mouths. We just happen to have done two that do an S apostrophe. There's plenty that don't. Okay. So I'm getting used to you is s'habituer à. So notice that my C has changed. Okay. So I get used to you. I need the reflexive. So je me. The verb habituer goes to habitue. Je m'habitue à toi. Okay. Je m'habitue. I'm getting used to. I'm getting used to his face. Je m'habitue à son visage. A, B, and C. Now, there's a couple of points to stress. You can use ABC verbs that have an a and a de, and commonly, as well, you know, if you end in an a and a de, and you then go into an object which is going to begin with a the, a plus le will become au. A plus la will become alla. A plus les will become o. Have a look underneath these written out. De plus le will become du, de plus les will become des, and de plus la will stay de la. So in other words, if you said, let's use one with a. So I'm getting used to the boy. Je m'habitue à ABC. Le garçon would need to be said or written, je m'habitue au garçon. So just because it's an ABC verb, your C, your preposition, you can change that as much as you want. Je m'habitue au garçon. Okay? I'm looking after the je m'occupe du garçon. Je m'occupe du garçon because the C of de has been joined with the. Now, final thing. If I gave you a verb that was an ABC and I asked you to stick it in the past or anywhere else, you'd have no problem if you've been following the verbs in the past method, the poetry past method, which is when we stick a reflexive verb in the past. Case in point, I got washed, je me suis lavé. So this is where you'd use the reflexive pasts. Je me suis, tu, t'es, il, c'est, nous, nous sommes, vous, vous êtes, ils, se sont, and I will pop those underneath. Again, I'll pop the videos for those underneath. So there's no need to panic if you have a reflexive verb in the past which is an ABC verb. So, je me suis occupé. So the verb is s'occuper. If I gave you se laver, je me suis lavé. If I gave you s'occuper, je me suis occupé, I just now need the de. So I looked after Luke, je me suis occupé de Luc. Any other way you want to go with that, can I remind you in the spoken French tenses,